Hey everybody, Jason with HOJ Forge on location today at this place. Maybe you recognize this guy. Finalist, Season 4, the Tall right?
Yeah.
Tall of Forged and Fired, Dave McConnell. We're at his forge today. Gonna be having some fun, making a hammer, chatting, whatever. Come on. So people have asked me a lot about this hammer that I use in a ton of my videos. This hammer was made by Mr. Dave McConnell at Northwoods Forge. And I went and I tried to make one a little bit heavier because this is about a 2-pound hammer. I wanted about a 3.5-pound hammer just to move the bigger stuff. The crap I came up with, you know, I'm using it in a lot of videos nowadays, but it doesn't work nearly as well as the properly hardened and shaped hammer that Dave made. So got this hunk of steel. This is about 5 pounds. We're going to cut it down and try to make one close to this weight, but much better. So stick around for that. So we lopped a hunk off of it. So now this should be pretty close to where we want to wind up. And what are we doing next?
So the whole idea behind a hammer is to get it to be balanced. What I mean by balanced is that when you're coming down with your hammer, if you happen to hit like this, an unbalanced hammer will want to do this number. So it fatigues your arm. So what we're trying to do is make it balanced. So I know just from trial and error that I need to move the center line of my hammer towards the face that I normally use, because when we do the rounding hammer part, we're going to end up removing quite a bit of stock from grinding. I don't have a cupping tool, so I can't forge the round face in. So we're going to be grinding. So what we do is move the center line 1/8 of an inch forward, and then when we grind, that compensates for all that. When we do the eye here, before we punch it, heat it up, and punch and drift it, we're going to put 2 pilot holes, 1/4-inch pilot holes. So we got something to guide the punch with.
So we're going to use a mill to do the drilling. Alright, so while we wait for that hunk of metal to heat up in the forge, I thought we'd do some question and answer with Dave about his forged and fire experience. So, number 1, why didn't you win?
My competitor was a little bit better.
No, it's, I mean, if you haven't seen it, it's a Tall episode. It came down to what? I mean, like a razor's edge at the end is what separated.
I ended up with a, it was funny because I got my sword back, and so the first thing I did is when I got it, I looked at it, and it was so funny because what was wrong with the blade was so, I mean, I had to get magnifiers out to see it, and I'm like, crap, it was there, what they said was there, but it was minuscule.
Alright, so you did it once, would you do it again?
Absolutely.
Okay. Cool. Now, the question, I see a lot of guys go on YouTube and they'll talk about their experiences and blah, 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 blah. I want to know the after. Give me a before, Northwoods Forge, you were doing what, and now after, where have you gone since the show has given you a little spotlight in the blade making?
It's made a huge difference. Before, nobody knew who I was. A few blacksmiths knew that I made hammers. And that's kind of what my reputation was for. But since then, it's just everybody just. What's really weird is people noticing you on the street. I've had it happens at least once a week. It's just odd. People are staring at you. weren't you on that show? And I'm like, yeah. It's surprising how many people actually watch the show. But yeah, that's the big difference. If anybody's starting out and they don't have a name for themselves, it really helped. I mean, it boosted me dramatically.
So, but you've been doing this for what, a dozen years or so?
12 years this year. I've been smithing.
So quite a while.
Yeah, I got a little.
It's not like you were just starting out.
No. When the show aired, I'd probably been smithing 11 years. Yeah, because it was last year. So yeah, 11 years.
Okay. As far as what you're making now, though, I mean, you used to make a lot of these.
Now we make a lot of these.
You did a bunch of this kind of stuff. But now you're making great big. Where'd the big knife go? Okay, now you make a lot of these.
Lots of these.
So, I mean, have you noticed from a business perspective, you weren't doing it full time, but I mean, you were making some money at it.
Yeah.
But are you making the money from mainly the blades now and a little bit of everything? Only the blades now? What's the business side of it?
Probably 95% blades, 5% rest of the other crap. That's what it boils down to now.
Okay. So do you want people to buy hammers from you?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I want to do it all. I want to do it all. I do. I just love the craft. So
I get to be the power hammer. I've never been a striker. This is really cool.
all right.
Tell me when.
Go ahead. Not that side. Okay.
And how hard you want it to.
You hit pretty hard. All right.
Oops.
All right. Let's get it heated up again.
I suck as a striker.
Here, let me never strike at somebody.
Oh, strike where the heck I want to strike. I can't seem to get it right anyway.
Just a second. All right.
Great, we just missed the most epic fail.
Let's try not to recreate that. Okay. Alright, let's get another heat.
Yeah, so I'm striking there. I got off and the punch went flat. Probably put a hole in his door. And of course I didn't have the camera running. So the hole is punched and drifted a little bit. We're gonna use Dave's power hammer now to start giving it some shape. Well, Dave's gonna use Dave's power hammer. I'm gonna watch. close-up look at the power hammer Dave was just using right there. Get the other side. Here's the important gizmos. I don't know what it all does. While we're drifting the hole again, explain why you went with an air hammer over like a tire hammer or some of those other ones.
I just like the control. I can feather it in really well. Go ahead. Okay.
So my question was, if you had to do it all over again, would you build the exact same hammer, or what would you change about it?
Honestly, there's really nothing I would change about it. I absolutely love it. Maybe the only thing I might change is how I mounted the dies. Maybe something a little quicker, more convenient. But other than that, as far as mechanically, it works great. I love it.
So what exactly is it? It's an air piston with some kind of actuator?
Yeah, what we have is 3.25 inch cylinder, and then on this side I have a valve, and then like if you come around the other side here, I have these proc switches which sense these tabs. So when it hits an upper limit and a lower limit, and that's what makes it go up and down. So there's a little switch in this panel back here that tells that valve to switch from pressure port to exhaust port. And they're on magnetic bases, so I can actually adjust the height of how high this comes up, or, you know, so if I'm doing 1/4 inch, I can adjust it so there's only an inch of stroke. And I'll just go that way I'm not wasting a bunch of air, because if I'm only working on 1/4 inch and I got this thing running full stroke, that's a lot of air that I'm consuming.
Okay, Dave's drawing the cheeks out now.
See, this side's way shorter than this side, but by the time you grind that back and get your bevels in there, it's going to be way back there, so it'll be perfectly balanced.
Doesn't it look pretty? Here, let's do a compare and contrast. Yeah. Grinding is finished. We're gonna heat treat it.
Oh man, this water bucket stinks so bad when I put hot stuff in it, because then my dog drinks out of it. It smells like dog.
Alright, look at that. It's a hammer. We made it. And there's no touch mark from Northwoods Forge on it. So, yeah, I mean, this is just kind of a fun video, not really a how-to. We had some fun making a hammer. Maybe you'll get something from it. Maybe you'll get something about the power hammer from it. We didn't really talk about his forge, or his press, or his grinder, or anything like that.
They have questions, they can contact you.
They can contact you. I will put a link in the description to Northwoods Forge. Where do you want them to go? Your Facebook page or your web page?
They can go wherever they want.
I'll put links to all of them.
There you go.
And Dave has a channel as well, where you're getting some videos up. And
yeah, some how-to videos, some beginner stuff, some hammer technique, stuff like that.
And if you can't trust a guy who made it to the finals on Forged and Fire, who can you trust?
Who can you trust?
And if you want to buy one of Dave's knives, here, look at this one. Can I show this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Look at that honking knife. Look at that. That's a big flipping knife. So if you're interested in a knife from Dave, where? Your website?
Northwoodsforge.com.
Northwoodsforge.com. I'll
Pretty
put the links
simple.
in the descriptions below. And I will talk to you all next time. Thanks for coming along on our little journey. See ya!
Bye.